Hold on tight, everyone, for this is going to be an emotional roller coaster. Goldberg, the prominent figure on The View, was recently involved in the most significant legal dispute of her life.
ABC News Live.
The Weekend View with everyone except for Whoopi Goldberg. So what's that about?
Let's talk about a $250 million lawsuit. According to insiders, Whoopi attempted to leave the area before the incident, but the police weren't playing around. Yes, when they stopped Whoopi at the airport, she was taken into custody. The subject of this controversy is Karoline Leavitt, who has endured years of harassment from The View's purported feminist panel.
Mocked him, they have shamed him, they have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up. They just paid $15 million to President Trump's future library. That's a great thing for the American people.
Why is a BC in crisis mode? What exactly is Whoopi being accused of? And will the show as we know it cease in light of this? First, click like, and then subscribe for more shocking updates. You won't want to miss this, I promise. Okay, let's get started.
Whoopi Goldberg is on thin ice to the point where they're actually coming out with a new promo for The View. I know that show that we can't stand to watch because, you know, she does things like this. She spits when she says the president's name.
Listen, take him seriously and take him literally.
I don't think that we have to. I think it would be remiss of us to not say Joe Biden knows how to do this.
Yes.
He knows how to do this. He's quite good at this. And you know, you can't refute anything with him because he just, when I say him, I mean
he rambles.
Trump.
Yeah.
He tends to just.
But can I mention one thing?
Okay, let's examine the drama in the long run. Whoopi Goldberg and the cast of The View have a history of denigrating conservative opinions, ignoring them, and dragging anyone who attempted to challenge their agenda. This time, however, they messed with the wrong woman. It all began when Whoopi insulted Karoline Leavitt and made such outrageous and disparaging accusations that Karoline felt compelled to retaliate violently.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about that.
In response, Karoline launched an incredible $250 million defamation lawsuit against Whoopi and The View, claiming they had spread false information to damage her reputation. ABC wasn't laughing, even behind closed doors, though Whoopi brushed it off as a joke. Executives were rushing, advertisers were panicking, and legal experts were already describing this as one of the most spectacular courtroom confrontations in the history of daytime television. The fun really started when things started to go completely out of control.
I'm kind of wondering, ABC's in a lot of trouble. She's a problem. You got Brendan Carr on there, you know what. He's coming for him. He's restored all these bias complaints against the likes of ABC and NBC and CBS, and he's actually threatening that they may not allow for the affiliations at all those local stations for ABC all across the country, so much so that he sent a letter to one Bob Iger, who is the CEO of Disney. Disney is the owner of ABC News, which runs The View. And so now, interestingly, there's a new show for The View coming out on weekends, Whoopi, because you just can't get enough of it. But one Whoopi is not even in it. Not in it at all.
As the legal tempest intensified, rumors began to circulate that Whoopi Goldberg was secretly getting ready to take a one-way ticket out of the country. Yes, you read correctly. Authorities were prepared when she was arrested at the airport while attempting to board a flight to Europe, which many are describing as a last-ditch attempt to avoid the penalties before the lawsuit was dropped. TSA and federal agents reportedly stopped Whoopi at the gate, stopping her escape before it even started. Soon after, chaos broke out, and images and recordings of the altercation at the airport went viral on social media, prompting the pressing question of whether Whoopi was genuinely attempting to flee her own disaster. ABC went into crisis management, full-time.
Listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
She was caught at the airport attempting to board a flight to Europe prior to the lawsuit being dismissed, which many are characterizing as a desperate attempt to escape the consequences. Authorities were prepared, though, as TSA and federal agents reportedly stopped Whoopi at the gate, stopping her escape from even beginning in a matter of minutes. As the legal battle heated up, rumors began to circulate that Whoopi Goldberg was covertly planning an escape on a one-way flight out of the country. Internet turmoil broke out when images and videos of the airport standoff went viral on social media, leading some to question whether Whoopi was actually attempting to flee her own disaster, while BC was plunged into a full-scale catastrophe. Listen, if you have nothing to say, simply blab. According to BC insiders, who can really blame the execs for being in full-blown panic mode? This is the scandal, not just a disagreement. Behind closed doors, the truth about The View in a $250 million lawsuit involving a dramatic delay at the airport are now being questioned. According to reports, top executives must decide between two dire possibilities. Whoopi tried to control the fallout after losing in order to keep their remaining viewers, advertisers, and brand intact. Let's face it, BC is already in a precarious situation. Sponsors are beginning to quickly change their stances. Viewers are turning off and ratings are dropping. According to one source, the network has already begun to develop a termination strategy, comparing the situation to putting petrol on a fire. In fact, the idea of Whoopi's impending termination doesn't even make Karoline Leavitt cringe.
I vow to provide the truth from this podium. We ask that all of you in this room hold yourselves to that same standard. We know for a fact there have been lies that have been pushed by many legacy media outlets in this country about this president, about his family, and we will not accept that. We will call you out when we feel that your reporting is wrong or there is misinformation about this White House.
Boom. She's got more.
I would like to point out to each and every one of you that in 2024, when Joe Biden was in the Oval Office, or upstairs in the residence sleeping, I'm not so sure, egg prices increased 65% in this country.
When Karoline Leavitt spoke, she didn't mince words and came out swinging. The mainstream media has unfairly singled out and demonized conservatives for far too long. However, that is now over. Even if you agree with them, I will not allow people who claim to support women's rights to damage my reputation. Fierce and strong, supporters of Karoline are furious, seeing her case as a turning point and a cautionary tale for media personalities who have gotten away with too much for too long. This could be the last straw that makes BC clean house, as they are already under pressure. The actual query now is, could this be the start of The View's demise? Now it's your turn. Did Whoopi Goldberg really flee the town in an attempt to avoid the lawsuit? Will BC eventually address the toxic culture that exists behind the scenes? And what effect will Karoline Leavitt's case have? Use the comment section to express your thoughts. Remember to click like and subscribe before you go for more canon updates and behind-the-scenes glimpses.